Welcome to Impact Duty. I'm your host, Manisha Dadlani Kripalani, bringing you empowering stories of friends and people I admire. Their voices have given me joy and the momentum to share their stories with you. Born in Bombay and based in Dubai, Savitar is a light-hearted product leader, entrepreneur, intrapreneur, triathlete, and proud father of 3 young and beautiful sons. He was the CDO of the $6 billion Landmark Group, founder of online fashion startup Twinning, and recently accepted into Stanford University's flagship executive education program. Hi, Savitar. Welcome to
Hi,
Impact
Manish.
Duty. How are you?
Thanks. I'm fine. I'm fine. Thanks a lot.
Where are you right now?
So I'm in Dubai in the UAE, and it's really hot outside. It feels like 44, 45 degrees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really hot.
Wow. And how's the quarantine been for you?
I think the quarantine it was rougher a month or two ago. I think things have started opening up. It's just everyone who I've interacted with is still being very cautious in terms of going out, wearing masks, wearing gloves, deciding who to meet or who not to meet. I think
Right,
there's just this general escalation in cautiousness all around.
right. Totally. Wow. And all right. Savitar, I wanted to touch base with you in terms of fitness. You've made quite the journey. In general, we've seen a change in the fitness industry. Would you like to give us some insights?
Sure, absolutely. I think, if you actually think about why is it, if you think about the fitness industry and why it's so important to stay fit in this day and age, especially over the last decade, I think you've got to maybe think about what's happened, what's changed over the last decade that
Right.
has raised the collective consciousness of fitness and health in people's minds. And I think it comes down to a bunch of things that I'll quickly run through, or what I feel strongly about is
Mm,
that if you take a look at where the world is right now from an internet connectivity, if you see the number of people who are connected to the internet right now in 2020 compared to 2010, that's gone up by about 2.5 times, because I believe in 2010 about 2 billion people were connected to the internet, but now 4.5 billion people are connected to the internet.
wow.
Um, and I think that's one contributing factor, but it's not just that. I think the speed of internet connections have gone up tremendously as well
Mhm,
over the
mhm.
course of the last 10 years. I think back in 2009 is when the whole, when the technology of 4G was basically started getting, rolled out across the world back in 2009. And now in 2020, you have 5G getting rolled out
Yeah.
in more and more countries around the world, and the speeds of 5G are 100 times faster than what you have for 4G. So it's just more. So one point is a lot more people are connected to the internet. Two
Mm,
is internet speeds have become a lot faster, and um, you know, I think what that's basically done is it's made life a lot easier to access quality content. And when I say quality content, I mean even health and fitness and sports content
right.
is much easier to access today than ever before. So, for example, if you enjoy swimming like me, and there's a channel called My Swim Pro where it's a wonderful channel. There's great content for swimming techniques, swimming drills, even dry land training. Brilliant videos, very well organized. That's easily available. But it's not just that. There's many more wonderful channels, like where there's Global Cycling Network, Global Triathlon Network, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Whether it's ESPN, if you want to watch Olympic replays of your favorite NBA, NFL game, or whatever it is, it's so easy to access all of this incredible sports, health, and fitness content. I think that's also been a contributing factor to why has fitness become more important in
Mhm,
everybody's minds. I
mhm.
think another contributing factor would be even the big technology players, right?
Right.
So if you think about it, in 2015, Apple announced the original Apple Watch, right? And that's when it entered the wearables market. And in 5 years, it's become the dominant player for activity tracking, beating out a whole bunch of its competitors. I believe Google announced Android Wear back in 2014, but they couldn't compete. They've not been able to compete. Even after partnering with Tag Heuer and with Fossil, and Google's still trying to compete right now with its whole Fitbit acquisition that they did in
Right.
2019 for $2 billion. And finally, I think a lot more people are thinking in terms of macros, so breaking food down into proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And I think there's a lot more of that going around. A lot more awareness of different types of diets, whether it's keto or paleo or low fat, low carb, whatever it basically is. I think more people are talking about that. And I think if you take all of these contributing factors, I think that's what's helped increase this whole awareness of health and fitness around the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've touched on really some key insights over there in terms of devices and technology transforming global connectivity, and in terms of us taking a look at what we consume in terms of food. So yeah, and what are your fitness goals centered around?
So my fitness goals, like Manisha, like most people, my fitness goals would be, around sustainably leading a healthy and happy life. And to achieve that, to break it down, for me, the starting point is to lose all unnecessary weight, right? Starting with dropping the kilos, but then it's not just about dropping the kilos, it's about dropping body fat percent, which becomes more important after a while than dropping kilos. I do want to achieve a healthy and athletic body fat ratio of about 12%. I'm not there. I'm about 16% right now, but I want to head in that direction. And I want to maintain that. I want to, if you can't sustain it, it's not worth it. So I want to really maintain that through healthy eating and regular fitness, and all around positivity though.
Wonderful. Wow, those are admirable goals.
Yeah, they're a bit ambitious, but
no, I love that figure of 12%. I was like, oh, wow. And how difficult has it been to stay motivated, or to to keep the rest of the people around you motivated in terms of fitness?
So in terms of fitness, I think it's been very difficult, very to extremely difficult, because just take a look at what's happened in the last 3 to 4 months. I mean, we're living in extraordinary times. The world is more dystopian than it's ever been before, and it's frankly it's quite terrifying, right? I mean, I was reading about the global corona cases and death rates right now, and from what I just read on sources like CNN or Bloomberg, the number of corona cases is close to crossing 8 million around the world, and the number of corona-related deaths has crossed 400,000 already, and that is truly nerve-wracking. And so what it does from a health and fitness point of view, I think it depresses a lot of things, because one, you take a look at this whole macroeconomic situation that's going on around you, and you see millions of people losing their jobs, families going through more hardships than ever before, economies, that are facing, negative growth, and it's all very demotivating. And then of course you go and combine that with the fact that gyms around the world have all had to shut down because of for corona and COVID related reasons, and now they're in the process of slowly opening up. But once again, even though they're in the process of opening up, how comfortable are those gym going folk? How do they feel about going back? Not everybody is fully confident. I don't believe everybody's fully confident to say, hey, let's go back and let's do things like we normally did. So I think it's really about adjusting to this new normal right now, which takes time. It really takes time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And have you always been really into fitness, or where did your fitness journey really begin from?
So I think it began when I was a kid, because my earliest memories of exercise and training and fitness, I think was when I was about, I remember I was swimming competitively at the Cricket Club of India as a member's child back in when I was 7. I think that's some of my earliest memories of sport and training. And I think then squash followed, where by the time I was 12 or 13 years old, I really fell in love with squash, and and I played that as much as I could. my tiniest claim to fame was playing with my school team. We played in the nationals in at Daly College in Indore. I think we got thrashed really badly like after that, but it was still a fun time, And
Wow.
I think that's where it all began.
Wow. So at a very young age. And any failures or obstacles that you've used as stepping stones to your fitness success?
Absolutely. So I think in terms of failure, so I told you, first came swimming and then came squash. But the thing is,
Mhm.
I actually had to stop playing squash after a while because I started developing a lot of pain in my back, in my lower back.
Ah,
And that turned out, what started off as I felt something was wrong when I played a game, and I felt something go in my back, and I couldn't walk properly off the squash court. I think that's how it
mm.
all began. But then after starting to do the MRIs and digging deeper into the problem, we realized that my L5 S1 disc in my lower back had worn
Ah,
out.
oh dear.
That and what discs do is that they're shock absorbers in your back, and when you don't have one, you start feeling the pains associated with the daily shocks your body goes through as you walk or turn or lift things or sit, or and all these motions that your body kind of goes through on a daily basis.
Right.
And the thing is, it became quite bad because it started in 2008, and it kept getting worse till about,
Ah,
I think it came to an end by about 2014. But in that 6 year
oh,
period, life became harder and harder and harder. And I ended up going to about, if I recall correctly, 7 hospitals in 4 countries, and I did 2 spinal surgeries, and I think I went through like 1,000 plus painkillers
oh dear.
through it
Really?
all. You know, I remember when my first son Summer was born in February
Hmm.
2014. Three
Hmm.
days it was my birthday, 3 days before the day he was born, and I was flat out on this couch in my living room. My family was around. They got a cake, and I'm going to blow out these candles because I couldn't get out. I couldn't get
Oh,
up,
ah,
and this was after my second spinal surgery.
right.
So that was a very, very hard time. I was mentally and physically in a very poor place. And I believe I hit rock bottom. So I think we can call that failure, right? Failure for a body part to function the way it should have. And how did I how did I use that as a stepping stone for success? I'll tell you, and I think somebody, much smarter than me said, when you hit rock bottom, the only way you go is up. And I thought about that a lot. And to make a long story short, 3 things got me out of, tremendous back pain. One was I read this book, which was a game changer. It's called Healing Back Pain: The Mind-Body Connection by Dr. John Sarno.
Ah,
And that book was incredible. It's like knowledge therapy by itself. And if anybody is suffering from back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, he's got a follow-up book, which is not, his first book was Healing Back Pain: The Mind-Body Connection, but he has one
right.
called The Mind-Body Prescription.
Ah,
As And what that does, it establishes, for whatever physiological problem you have, it establishes a connection to the psychological challenges or problems that a person may be going through. And I
right.
never thought of my back problem from that perspective. And reading that book and reading about stories on how other people have suffered, but they've gone from tremendous pain to recovery
Hmm.
by reframing their perspective and by listening to what John Sarno recommends. And that's what I did. And that really helped me a lot. You know, so the root cause of what he talks about is how stress is this massive contributing factor to the physiological pain that you go through. And then he talks about how to kind of like deal with it. He describes the condition as TMS, tension myositis syndrome. And there's
Ah,
one whole chapter dedicated to the treatment and healing of TMS. So that
right.
was that was amazing. That really, really helped me. Another thing that really helped was yoga breathing, like yoga breathing, like pranayama, right?
Yes.
I had a wonderful yoga teacher, Sanjeev Krishnan. He taught me how to do pranayama and the importance of it and how you can de-stress. And I think the beautiful thing about pranayama is that it complemented the whole John Sarno theory like perfectly, right? stress as the root cause of your physiological problem, and then yoga and yoga breathing is teaching you how to de-stress. So I think they complemented each other beautifully. And I think that really helped. And it wasn't just the whole act of breathing in and breathing out. It's this whole visualization of, which I think is incredibly powerful, is that when you breathe in, is to visualize powerful, like positive thoughts, happy thoughts, from people who you love, people who you care about, and fill your brain up with that. And when you breathe out, anything that is troubling you, stressing you out, grief, tension, anger, whatever it is, you mentally like flush that out when you exhale. And I think the visualization exercise complemented the physical, mechanical breathing exercise. And I think that was really important as well. And then 3 is starting to lead a more active life. Even if you have back trouble, neck trouble, shoulder trouble, don't just stay in bed the whole day. Do whatever you can. Go for a walk. Because once you get the walk under control, you can make it a jog. Once you get the jog under control, you can make it a run. And that's exactly what I did. Because at one point, I couldn't get out of bed. I just couldn't. But you just got to will yourself, and it sounds like this is coming from like a Rocky movie, right? But you've got to power through the pain. That if you're walking and you get a shock because of your back, don't stop out there. You've got to power through that pain. After spinal surgery, I tried getting into the pool, and as I've told you, I've loved swimming pretty much all my life. I couldn't even do one lap after I got back into the pool. What I was doing is I was just walking up and down the pool just to get like a little bit of hydrotherapy. And then I said, you know what? Let me give one lap a shot. So I went from walking, I went lateral, and I tried doing a lap, and I got a shock. I got like this whole spasm that kind of went up to my head, went down to my leg, and it hurt. But I said, you know what? I'm going to keep going. And that one lap became 2 laps, 2 laps became 4 laps, 4 laps became 10, 10 became 20. In a couple of weeks, I was doing 50 laps. In a month, I crossed 100 laps. By my second month, I crossed like 200 laps in a 25-meter pool. And you just keep getting stronger. Once you will yourself to keep moving forward, you just keep getting stronger. And then there's no looking back. There's just no looking back after that. So I think these 3 things, about failure as stepping stones to success, I think these really helped me tremendously to go from a place of nothing, of being empty and lost, to a position of strength and confidence and happiness. I think that's how I did it. And I strongly recommend it to anybody who's suffering as well.
I can't tell you how grateful I am that you've shared this story. It's honestly such a success story. Thank you for sharing it with us. So, I mean, I think this is pretty much your biggest success story. I mean, I know you have a couple of marathons under your belt, and okay, I'll actually leave it to you to tell me what you think a recent success story for you has been.
I told you about the troubles with the back and moving forward. But after the walks became jogs and jogs became runs, and the swimming laps increased, I said, hey, let me try a 10K marathon. I've never done a 10K marathon before. So in 2015, I did my first one, and I did it. And I did get some shocks in my back, but I managed to power through. And then I did my second one, my third one, my fourth one. And then I got introduced to the world of triathlons, and I had this incredible coach and friend, a brilliant Ironman triathlete by himself, Omar Martinez. And he started training me on how to do triathlons, the whole swim back, run thing. And it was great. I did my first 2 triathlons in 2017. Wow. And it was a lot of fun. And obviously for somebody who went through spinal surgery and being flat on your back, to finish the feeling you get when you finish your first triathlon, it's euphoric. It feels amazing. Just to have fun with it, and to keep getting better in the spirit of continuous improvement. I did my first Ironman relay event in February this year, and that was a lot of fun. I created a small team with 2 friends of mine. Amelia, she ran, and my personal trainer Blair, he did the biking leg, and I did the 1.9 kilometer swim, open water swim. The water was quite cold, but it was a lot of fun. I hit a personal best of 37 minutes. And it was great. it was a lot of fun. You get this nice big relay medal after that, and you get your first Ironman medal, and it's just a wonderful feeling.
Wow, I can only just imagine. This sounds incredible. And any routines or rituals that are non-negotiables for you or that you do need to have on a daily basis?
So I think routines and rituals are incredibly important. I try and stick to mine as closely as I can. I think it's basically a combination of training. So whether it's swimming, biking, running, or now that it's really hot in Dubai. On some days it crosses like 40 degrees already. I think indoor workouts are getting more and more important. And this is where I'm so grateful, for the amount of incredible health and fitness content you get on YouTube. So and what I've been doing is not just following a regimen for myself, but for my children. I've got three very sweet young children. Summer is 6, Nikhil is 4, we call him Nikki, and Johan is 2. He's a little too young right now. But I've been training my boys for the last 3 months as well, 5 days a week. So I've got them on a program. I'm trying to stick to a program myself. Just in terms of making sure I get some form of exercise a day. My personal trainer recommended I walking 10,000 steps a day, which I think is a wonderful thing to do. And I would say eating healthy. I think nutrition is incredibly important. Measuring your food portions is definitely part of the program. Counting calories is definitely part of the program, and trying to stick to it all. I think that's what I'm trying to do, at least.
Wow, I'm gonna take you further on the food topic. Do you want to give us some insights in terms of food groups or something that you would recommend that we introduce into our lives if we're looking at?
Look, I don't claim to be a nutritionist. I claim I'm the type of guy who always wants to learn from the experts, and to keep learning, right? So in terms of what I would recommend, whatever I recommend is what I've learned from people who are much smarter and much better than me.
Right.
Is that measuring food portions makes a world of a difference. Counting calories makes a world of a difference. That if you want to lose weight, you have to be in a state of, a calorific deficit, so what you ultimately consume has to be less, than what you are burning. Otherwise, you will not scientifically start losing weight.
Yes.
And, in terms of how you think about food, I think when you've got to think about your foods in terms of macros, right? Proteins, carbs, and fats. And you want to, figure out what is the right amount of protein that you should, consume every day. What's the right amount of carbs you should consume? What's the right amount of fats that you want to consume? And it's not, just how many calories you want to consume from them. It's what type of proteins do you want to consume? What type of carbs do you want to consume? What type of fats do you want to consume? And this is where I think connecting with a great personal trainer or a nutritionist, I think becomes really, really important, because they can help you. They are the experts, And I think, so I've learned a great deal from my personal trainer, Blair Gunn. And he got me on a program. He created like a Google sheet for me when I was, where I still weigh myself every morning, where logging, you log your weight if you want to measure how much weight you're losing by when. I think weighing yourself every day is probably the best way to do it. One tip for that is to basically do it at the same time during the day, as opposed to weighing yourself in the morning and then the next day weighing yourself at night. Select a time and weigh yourself at that particular time. That's another recommendation. What I do is I eat 4 meals a day, and I'm trying to stay within 4 meals a day, and I try to stay within a budget of 1,800 calories.
And that's more in tune with being a runner.
No, it's not. For me, it's not exclusively to do with running. It's to do with swimming, biking, running.
Yes, that's right.
Right. Or any sport that actually allows you to burn calories and for you to have fun with it. 1,800 calories breaks down to about 450 calories a meal. you know, created a system where all my meals are portion controlled, calorie counted. So that just helps. Once you devise a system and you put it in place, then when you do it on an ongoing basis, it just makes life easier for you. You know.
Right.
So I think this has really helped, though.
Yeah. Sure. And there's something that's quite intrigued me, and that is your shoe collection, Savitar. I have shoe envy. Okay, so so do you want to tell us a little bit about your collection?
Oh wow, do I have to?
Okay, all right.
No. It's just for fun. It's just it's out of love for beautifully designed products. It's out of love
Ah,
for for all the tremendous sports personalities who are behind those beautifully designed products.
right.
And I mean, everyone knows Michael Jordan's the best of the best. He's the greatest of all times. And I think the whole shoe craze started,
Ah,
with the introduction of the Jordans. And so the Last Dance, I think covered that. That was such a brilliant documentary on Netflix.
mhm.
And one of those episodes was completely dedicated to how the Jordan brand, how Nike, how Jordan was hesitant to meet with Nike initially, and his mom convinced him to go for the meeting, and they
Right.
got together and they created the Jordan brand, and the rest is history basically after that. And now there are like a gazillion types of Jordans, Jordan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going up to I'm not sure kind of like what number. But it's fun. It's just fun. They look really cool. They feel really great.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right. What was your last acquisition?
My last acquisition, I got the Jordan the AJ ones, the Chicago mids with the black toe. I think it's very classic. It really pays respect to the origins of the sneaker story
Uh-huh.
and to the sneaker craze. And yeah, they're really cool as well.
Wonderful. And before I say goodbye to you, Savitar, any tips or tricks you want to leave us with?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say one is learn from the experts. Just say that keep wanting to learn from the best. I've learned so much from all the great trainers that I've had in my life. My personal trainer Blair Gunn, my triathlon my coach Omar Martinez, my swimming coach that I had Merla Travis. She's in Singapore right now. She
Uh-huh.
runs a boot camp. I was part of a boot camp in Dubai. She runs a great boot camp in Singapore right now. You know, just keep learning from people who are professionals, people who are, who participate competitively in incredible competitions like the Ironman. There's so much you can learn from them. Talk to a nutritionist. You
Mhm.
know, be very conscious about what you're eating. Question everything. Right? I think it makes a big difference. That would be one. Another tip I would say is if you haven't already, get an Apple Watch. As far as activity trackers, yeah, I don't know where I'd be. I'm not even on the Series 5. I'm on
Really?
the Series 4, but it's amazing. And I think it's invaluable, and it's
Right.
such an essential piece of technology that you need when
Uh-huh.
you want to stay healthy and achieve certain fitness goals as well. I think sleep is incredibly important. Aim to
Thank you.
sleep for at least 8 hours a night, seven at the least.
Uh-huh.
And what else? Yeah, learning from Blair, walk at least 10,000 steps a day. Just get it done however you can. Even if you go out for a walk for like um, 45 minutes, you should kind
Mhm.
of get to about, I don't know, 7,000 to 8,000 steps, and the rest will happen naturally during the course of your day. Uh, Drink a lot of water, like 2 to 3 liters. Historically I've been a rubbish water drinker, but I'm pushing myself to kind of like drink more and more water. And last but not least, I would say is stay positive. Okay, and
Right.
I think this is the most important one. Surround yourself with people who you
Mhm.
love, people who give you joy, people who make you happy, because their positivity vibes, they reinforce your positivity and what you're kind of like going through. And their positive energy gives you energy to keep doing what you do and to enjoy the ride, right? I think if you do any of this stuff and you feel
Mhm.
it's a pain in the ass, um, I don't think you're going to be able to sustain it for too long.
All right.
So as long as you really enjoy this whole fit health and fitness journey every day,
Right.
I think that's what makes it sustainable. And that means you can do it for the long run. And that's what I'm in for, actually.
Oh, bravo. Savitar, it's been so wonderful speaking to you. And I can't thank you enough for sharing your
Sure.
stories with us. Stay
Sure.
safe,
A pleasure.
stay well.
Okay.